I haven't eaten my peanut butter and jelly sandwich yet, but when I do, it's gonna be game over for you two. Mark my words.
Max, where are we?
We are in Golden's Bridge, New York, in Westchester County, and today Simone is going to teach us how to ride on gravel.
Felipe is.
Okay, so Felipe is going to teach us how to ride on gravel.
I don't know if I trust this guy. He can't even find the garbage can.
That's true.
He cannot find the garbage.
There he is.
Are we going to be waiting for him all day?
Probably.
For the past 2 weeks, I have been dying to get out to Westchester to do some gravel riding. Amazing riding up there. The roads are pristine. It's horse country. The climbs are not crazy steep like they are slightly more up north. Very fun riding. Call up Simone. I'm like, hey, here's the route. Golden's Bridge, 50 miles, mostly gravel, 4,000 feet of climbing. Simone's super excited. He's like, I'm in. Simone. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah. What's up?
Where's Max?
Max? I don't know. We drove him. Max?
My friend Simone Velez. A super nice guy, not a great person to go for a bike ride with. Simone is Colombian and he's been racing downhill mountain bikes since he was 10 years old. I have not been doing that since I was 10 years old. So some people say that I'm a bit naive. I usually bite off a little bit more than I can chew. My eyes are bigger than my stomach. I always have leftovers at the dinner table. So I'm like, this is gonna be great. 50 miles with Simone. It's gonna be a nice, chill, relaxed ride. Day before the ride, Simone calls me up. He's like, hey man, my friend Felipe is in town from Colombia. He's gonna come on the ride with us. It's gonna be awesome. I'm like, great, Felipe, can't wait to meet him. The more the merrier. Horrible idea. Little did I know, Felipe was Egan Bernal's downhill mountain bike skills coach for like the Colombian junior national team. This is the guy that I have to go ride a bike with? I barely know how to ride a bike. I started riding because I saw Lance Armstrong on TV. These guys started riding because they have mountains to go over to get to the next town, and they also were born at 10,000 feet above sea level. Like, come on. I got you a coffee and a bagel and a train ticket.
That's Egan Bernal?
Yeah, that was I think was the first course that I gave.
On the left?
Yeah, this is me, the instructor, and this was the team.
We get out there on the road. I think I was trying to get it into their minds. This is going to be a nice, relaxed ride. Everybody's going to have fun. Every 5 minutes, these guys are sprinting against each other like they're late for a meeting. But it was still a very fun time. You know, I learned a lot riding on their wheels on the gravel roads. They really they have like this unique sense of vision where they can really see the lines, great wheel to follow, and their bike handling skills are just like otherworldly. I mean, Felipe's popping one-handed wheelies left and right. Simone's talking on his banana cell phone. Are you getting a phone call?
Trying to just hear what you're saying.
And, you know, there's these huge, chunky gravel rocks in the park that are the size of my head. I have a small head, but the rocks are still pretty big. And Felipe's like, yeah, these are like what the roads are like around us at home, and this is the norm there. And I'm like, dear God, I can barely pedal over here. But super fun times. We stopped at this lovely place called the Market at Union Hall, and it's basically this awesome little cafe with all natural foods built into this crazy old barn structure, which has got to be hundreds of years old. And we met the owner, Daniel, super nice guy, loves cyclists.
Do you own the place?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Where are you-
Amazing.
Where are you guys coming from?
The city.
The city. It's awesome. Colombia?
I
Colombia. I know, right? We're having a meeting, Jen. You can come back. No worries.
I mean, it's always excellent here, so how could we? Here you go.
Thank you very much.
I do pretty much all organic,
Yeah.
you know, clean food, breastfed. I try as much as possible.
What's your name?
I'm Daniel. Felipe. Nice to meet you. That's amazing.
Are we dying? Felipe? Colombia. Sometimes you see like 15-year-old kids riding bicycles with a like aluminum Ale spring from like 10 years ago. Like very cheap bicycles, very cheap kids, like flying up the hills, like crying them, woo! Bye! The wrong size of huge bicycles or
Like an
I love
8-speed cassette.
yeah.
When did
Super
you move
strong.
to the US,
I've
Simon?
been here 11 years.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you've been riding in Colombia most of your adult life, I guess?
I started racing when I was 11.
In Colombia.
Yeah, I raced BMX before that, and then I switched to mountain bikes with this guy.
Oh, so you were riding with him, or was
Yeah,
he your
30 years
coach, or you
ago.
were in the same age? You're almost the same
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, we were the first race I did in my life. I think we raced together in Manizales, and then the one in Pereira.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we've been racing together since we were kids.
Yeah, I think we started to race, really racing in 1992
Yeah.
in mountain biking.
I was 1 year old.
That's why Max is
That's
not that
very funny
strong.
because I have
He still
a
needs a few
friend
more
who
years to
says,
develop.
Yeah.
I just started to ride in 1991. Oh, that was the year that I was born. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then he switched more to.
Trials?
Oh yeah,
Trials bike.
man, he did this crazy trip when I was a kid. We were like 18, and he went all the way to Argentina on a trial bike.
Yeah, I was
Time trial?
No,
like a
trials.
trials.
Bike. Like Danny McCaskill.
What's
You know?
that?
Danny McCaskill, have you seen?
Yeah. You know,
Foot down. That's what Brumodi
you just go over huge rocks like very slow and
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, of course.
that's trials. Yeah. So he went all the way to Argentina from Colombia. One of
Yeah.
those.
Hitchhiking.
It was
With my
like a, it
bicycle.
was like
These
everybody was
pictures-
talking about that. Like, dude, Felipe is going to Argentina.
Look, this picture was from
Oh, wow.
1993.
Oh my
Let me
god.
see.
¿Ah?
Wow, it's Cali,
Sí.
Palmira.
No. Toboganes.
Toboganes. Oof, good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did cycling in Colombia changed over the years with all the Colombian
man.
stars and
Yeah, but for example, right now it's totally different.
Yeah.
The way the people see the cyclists, because when we just started, that was just like mountain biking was for kind of people with money,
Yeah.
and then if you were a cyclist, you were just like a, I don't know, like a homeless guy. You're not going to have a
Poor.
future. But
Yeah.
right now, everybody wants to be like, what you say, Boquita Chanel, like
Yeah.
this one. It's very funny, and it's just like a status. I
Yeah.
practice cyclist. I have a super expensive bicycle, and I just want to hit all the KOMs.
Yeah.
It's
It was
funny.
different times.
We have seen all these things changing all these years. It's weird because it's just like we have been riding for 30 years, and you can start just knowing people who start just like 2 years ago, and they are professional. They know everything about cyclists, and you say,
Professional.
"Really?" Yeah, whatever.
well, Simon here is a massive cycling influencer.
I've been influencing people since 1992, man.
He's saving money for surgery because he wants to have a better profile.
I might be keep my nose.
Our parents used to be friends, so they were friends, and we just started to imagine that like we were living in a place like this in the outside of the city of Manizales.
Manizales.
And we just started to riding bikes, and that was the time where the first mountain bike competition started to be in our country. For example, the first race that I didn't do that race, but I just showed the trails. That first competition, the winner was Santiago Otero. Santiago Otero was the winner of the Dutch jersey, the Tour de France.
Yeah, we raced with Santiago Otero.
We used to race in that
Era.
Yeah.
Colombia right now is so many cyclists that there's no way to hide.
Yeah.
I think actually gravel is gonna change that a little bit because not everybody likes the gravel.
It's different, it's our trail, but our roads are not as perfect as this one. Here is perfect. You can just ride with your road bike.
On the gravel here.
Yeah.
That
but
depends. I mean, I think you do need to have some serious mountain biking experience to ride with your road bike.
I took him already.
Well, what is the gravel like in Colombia?
It's, for example, for me, it's
Like
more
the
just like
surface.
bike pack. No, it's totally
Broken.
different to this. There
It's not
it
out
rains
back.
a lot. It rains a lot. It's steep, so when it starts
Way too
raining, the water start to
Well,
take everything.
Actually, you're talking about Manizales, but there's areas where if you go to Bogota, it's similar to this.
This is what I used to practice trials. Just like riding on the rocks, over the rocks and obstacles.
Wow.
This was in Uruguay.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I used to practice this for 9 years.
Yeah, Felipe switched to mountain biking and he switched to road a little bit
Yeah.
back in the 90s.
And you both became world champions?
I wish.
I was in
No, Felipe
1993
was close.
junior mountain bike champion, national champion, and I just like classified it for the world champs, but I didn't go there. So I was like frustrated and I wanted to start a new sport, and I love it. I just saw a couple of videos about trials, and there was anybody practicing in Colombia trials. So that was why I moved to trials and just started to make like shows, and that's when I decided.
With a VHS tape? Because you didn't have YouTube then.
What's Manizales like for cycling?
I'm going to tell you something. The closest city to the one of the longest climb in the world is Manizales. Manizales.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that Manizales is here. You have to climb like 20 miles, and you go to Letras. Letras, the other side is going to be like 50 miles climb, or is super famous right now. A lot of people from other countries are traveling there. It's just like a huge challenge because it's
Letras?
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
And it has
It's
a
like
gravel.
River Road,
Yeah,
right? It's
so
like
wait,
it's the
you
Gravel
did hill
China.
repeats?
Yeah. Yeah. we used to do repeats.
You make like
It has a gravel option. Not too
It's
many
worst.
people know.
It's worst.
longer and it's really broken. It's hard. It's hard.
Alright,
hard.
let's
Yeah.
go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. I'm serious.
I think maybe there you can make the longest climb in the world.
Wow.
The longest. Because Letras is at in meters is 3,700 like
Wow.
3,700
I'm not
meters.
coming, by the way.
It's over 10,000 feet.
Yeah, but if you want and if you can, because you have to have a permit, yeah, you can just go to like 15,000 feet.
Whoa.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
it's-
almost like
hard.
5,000 meters. 1,000 meters.
God.
It's,
On a bike.
and it's in another world. Yeah,
it's
that's
beautiful.
sandy. It's just like
It's
Mars.
beautiful, but I don't know if
You've
you
been
can.
there?
Yeah, I don't know if you can enjoy it.
15,000 feet up.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did it, but I remember we did it like 30 years ago.
I did it from Pereira,
Yeah.
going all the way up,
Yeah.
and then switching on a road bike, and then switching to mountain bike
Yeah.
and doing the zigzag. Yeah.
Imagine that when I did that climb, I did it with Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I
No cleats.
I
Yeah.
didn't have cleats in that time.
we're approaching the end of the route. Everybody's feeling good, I think. We all got a good amount of energy left in the legs. I had not looked at the return train schedule the entire day. I didn't even know what time the train was coming back. We get back to Golden's Bridge. I pull out my phone, look at the train schedule. The train back to Grand Central shows up in 1 minute.
There's a train in 1 minute. Go, run, go.
And the next one after that is an hour later, and there's not a lot around. So I was like, guys, we gotta book it. So we get off the bikes, go into full supercross mode, running down very long staircase in Golden's Bridge. Like 3 flights of stairs down this thing. And we're all hustling down. Second we hit the platform, boom, train is here. So this train was a little busier. Usually the conductors are very friendly. Our conductor that time wasn't as friendly, and he was giving us a lot of slack. I mean, I locked eyes with this guy like 3 cars down, and he was already giving us the stink eye about our bikes. And it's like, guy, I just had to ride 5 hours with these 2 pro Colombian mountain bikers. I am wrecked, and now you're gonna make me start shuffling equipment and bikes around? I'm like, come on, what's the big deal? And he's like, I can't get through here. I'm like, there's plenty of room. And he's like, no, there's no room. And so we have to start rearranging, but it's all right. I mean, we got all the bikes in place, and then finally we settled in for a nice train ride. It was actually a pretty quick train ride back to the city. I am a sprinter and a classic specialist. Simone here is a pure climber. Yeah. Felipe is an all-around good guy.
That was Max. Will you ride with him ever again?
He kicked my ass. He's too strong, man. Too strong.
And then we got into Grand Central. So, trip was great, the day was great, we're back in Grand Central, everybody's saying their goodbyes to each other, and I feel like a light drizzle coming on. I'm like, guys, we should probably head out of here. Like, it was fun hanging out, but it's time to go now. Because I know, I've watched Twister many times in my life. I know when a storm's brewing, and I knew that a storm was brewing. So, zip up the raincoat and start riding back. 2 minutes later, boom, torrential New York City downpour. It's really fun to see, you know, the differences within their stories, and they were explaining how it's very important for them, you know, with all of this immense amount of training and talent, to continue to stay humble. And I was just joking before when I said Simone is not fun to ride with. He's a great person to ride with. I mean, the guy literally waves at every cyclist. He's super friendly, and it's really cool to see that on the road when, you know, these guys have been, you know, doing amazing things on the bike for many, many years, and yet they're still very humble and welcoming, and they just want people to get on bikes and pedal.